Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And let's just get right into this review. So at the very beginning of this episode, Trick ends up throwing a celebration for his son graduating college. And look, I'm glad that he actually ended up finishing school, because last season that was a huge topic of conversation between him and Trick, because his son wanted to, focus on his music career and put college on the back burner, and Trick really wanted him to finish school first and then focus on his music. But apparently Jay has been able to do both at the same time, so I'm happy for them. But at this party for Trick's son, Hawt Topic was there, and she wasn't even focused on celebrating Trick's son. She was more focused on telling Big D all of Trina's business that she found out. She started telling him about how Trina got married and how nobody knew about it, and then she starts telling him the information that she found out about Swerve. She said that they found out that he actually has a child that he doesn't take care of, and that he also was allegedly stalking Trina, watching the places that she likes to go to so that they would run into each other and he would be able to swoop into her life. Now, she doesn't know if this is true. It could actually be true. However, she doesn't have any proof of that. And at this point, I'm wondering whether or not she's actually being a genuine friend to Trina and trying to look out for her, or if she's more so upset because since Trina has been with Swerve, she hasn't really been talking to her that much. And look, I'm not saying that I don't agree with Hawt Topic, because there's something about Trina's husband Swerve that I just don't feel like is genuine. I feel like he is not being genuine, and I feel like there's some things that he might be hiding. However, the way that, Hawt Topic is going about things makes me feel like she's not completely doing this out of the kindness of her heart and because she cares about Trina. And to me, Trina's not really the type of person to want her friends to come to her about something that they found out about her man. She seems like she would get mad at somebody for doing that. So I just don't understand why Hawt Topic is continuing to do it. Now, Zoe's sister Bianca ends up showing up to her house, and honestly, Zoe seemed reluctant to let Bianca in because she was really upset at her because of what happened in last week's episode. If you watched last week's episode of the show, you would know that, Bianca told Zoe that she was pregnant by Fabo, and so Zoe ended up setting up this meetup between her, Fabo, and Shay, and they had Zoe on the video chat, and they had the conversation about their relationship, and basically Fabo ended up shutting up Bianca really quickly because he asked her if they've ever met in person, and she admitted that they had never met in person, so there's no way that she could actually be pregnant by him. So basically she ended up lying, and then Shay and Zoe ended up getting into a heated back and forth with each other that almost ended up turning physical, because Zoe was obviously not liking Shay threatening to put her hands on her sister, even though Zoe knew that Bianca was wrong. Now look, Zoe ends up asking Bianca during this conversation why she lied about being pregnant by Fabo, and she said that Fabo was telling her a lot of lies, that when they were having conversations that she claimed went up to almost a year, that he was basically saying that he wanted to be with her and they were planning on meeting up with each other, and then when it was time for them to meet up with each other in person, he ended up flaking on her, and so she was really pissed off about that, and that's the reason why she lied and said that she was pregnant by him. And to me, I can understand being upset, but that's not a reason to lie about something like that. Like, to me, she was doing too much, and then she put her sister in a really fucked up situation, because Zoe could have ended up having beef with Shay at this point, and she could have ended up getting into a physical fight over this situation. Like, she put Zoe in the middle of drama that she didn't even have to be a part of because it wasn't even real. Now, Shay was acting like Fabo was vindicated, but in my opinion, he still wasn't vindicated, because even though he never met, Bianca in person, so he never physically cheated, he still emotionally cheated on her because he was still talking to this woman. I don't believe that they only had one conversation or a couple of conversations about her doing his hair, and then she started acting like this. I just don't believe that. I think there's more to what they were talking about that we just don't know yet. But Bianca did end up apologizing to Zoe, and Zoe did accept Bianca's apology, but you can tell that she was still upset with her sister because her sister caused a bunch of drama for no reason. Now, Bobby ends up meeting up with Trina for lunch, and basically he wanted to clear the air with her because he was upset at the fact that he did not know that Trina got married, but Trina was explaining to him that the reason why she wanted to keep things private for a while is because she knows once you announce your relationship or your marriage publicly, that's when everybody comes out of the woodworks and starts talking about your relationship and trying to poke holes in your relationship. And I understand where she's coming from because we see this in public relationships a lot. However, that does not change the fact that there is something suspicious about her husband, because I just feel like he's way too mysterious. Like, nobody knows anything about him. I mean, she might know things that the rest of us don't know because they probably talk behind closed doors and what we don't get to see. However, the way that he was dodging all the questions that Trina's brother was asking him, even the simple questions like where he's from, was kind of odd to me. But Bobby ended up asking Trina if she had an idea who leaked the story, and she said that she did not know, but she wants to find out. And he kind of implied to her that it was Hawt Topic that did it, but Trina was not buying it because she didn't think that Hawt Topic would do something like that to her. However, they ended up showing a clip of Bobby sitting down with one of Eliza's friends, and Eliza's friend ended up telling Bobby that, you know, Hawt Topic actually runs a tea page on social media, and they feel like she's the one who actually leaked the story. Now, in this episode, they end up asking her in her confessional if she's the one that leaked the story, and she just smiled and didn't say anything. So to me, that means that she's probably the one that did it. If she did do that, that is messy and messed up, because I just don't understand what that did for her to expose that they got married. Now look, during this conversation, Bobby does try to give Trina a warning that he did get an email from somebody anonymously contacting him, telling him all this information about Swerve and how he has a child that he doesn't take care of and how he was allegedly plotting on Trina. But Trina cut him off immediately and told him that she doesn't care what anybody has to say, and she doesn't care about anything from his past because that was before her. So she shut the conversation down completely. And look, I think she's a little bit crazy for not wanting to hear what Bobby had to say, because at the end of the day, just because that was his past doesn't mean that his past doesn't have something shady in it that you might need to know. So I don't know why she shut it down as quickly as she did, but it's not surprising to me, and that's why I don't understand why Hawt Topic is going so hard, because at the end of the day, Trina has heard these rumors and she doesn't care. She literally just said to Bobby that she does not care. So Hawt Topic doing all this doesn't make any sense. So Shay ends up meeting up with her friend Jen, who is also her business manager, and they start talking about business opportunities for Shay, but Jen makes it known to Shay that she needs to start picking up her phone and stop ignoring the phone calls, because there's a lot of business deals that she's missing out on. And Shay admits that she hasn't been answering her phone because she's been dealing with a lot when it comes to her relationship with Fabo, and that's why Jen told her that she needs to find out whatever Fabo is doing behind her back so that she can finally confront him and end the relationship, because it's interfering with her work. And Shay claims that that's exactly what she's gonna do, but I think that even if Shay does find something shady that Fabo's doing, she's still gonna find a reason to stay with him anyway. She does admit that Fabo was wrong though for still talking to Bianca, even though he didn't actually get her pregnant, because at the end of the day, Bianca wouldn't have been able to say anything about Fabo if he wasn't talking to her in the first place. And that is true, but she's not going to give Fabo any consequences for his actions, so it didn't make any sense for her to even say that. Now, she claimed during this conversation that the reason why she's always trying to make things work with Fabo is for her daughter, and that could be part of the reason why she tries to stay with him, but that's probably a small part of it, because I really do think that when people say that they're staying with somebody for the kids, they're not being completely truthful about it, and I'll get into that later on in this video. Now, because Trick was in the hospital by himself fighting for his life, basically, he said that he doesn't want to be lonely anymore, and he remembers that he had this woman in his life named Unique that he was really into, but things didn't really end well with the two of them because he was sleeping with her friends and then she ended up sleeping with some other people, and so they decided to end things. But he said that he's interested in rekindling things with Unique, so they end up meeting up in this episode, and he kind of sets up a cute little date for her, and they start talking about why things went wrong in their relationship and how they want to start over fresh and make things work. And look, I think it's okay if they both admit their faults and then they decide to try to work things out with each other and see where things go. However, Trick is a cautionary tale for people, okay? Because when he was young and healthy, he was out here playing games with women, hurting them, breaking people's hearts, I'm sure, and he admitted to sleeping with this woman's friends. And now that he was lonely in the hospital and there was nobody there with him, and now he's getting older and he's getting sick, now he wants a woman that he had before that he did wrong to be in his life and be there for him when he's lonely. And I'm honestly surprised that she's agreeing with him and that she wants to give him another chance, because honestly, I wouldn't be able to do it, but to each their own. So Trick ended up deciding to introduce the Hollywood twins, who he was working with a lot last season on their music career, and he ended up introducing them in this episode to Derek, who is Black China, well, Angela White's boyfriend, and they get in the studio with him, and one of them is not really paying attention to what's going on in the studio because she's too busy having a bunch of issues with Trick's son. She basically slept with Trick's son at the party that Trick threw for him to celebrate him graduating college, and her sister, her twin sister, is trying to tell her her that it wasn't a good idea to do that because Trick is probably going to end up getting mad, and they're all living under the same roof. So if the two of them end up deciding to break up or not speak to each other anymore, they're not going to be able to avoid each other because they're living in the same house. And look, I completely agree with her sister. I don't think it was a good move to sleep with Trick's son, especially because they're saying that he actually has a girlfriend that he's been with for quite some time now. So once she finds out what's went down, now there's going to be more drama, and she's not even going to be able to focus on the music because she's going to be in a bunch of drama. So she definitely got herself into a bunch of mess. So Shay actually ended up taking her friend Jen's advice, and she went through Fabo's iPad, and she ended up seeing a bunch of conversations that he was having with a bunch of different women, and she claims that he was having the same conversation with all these women, and so she's upset about it. So she ends up taking her daughter to her mother's house and telling her mother everything that went down. She even ends up apologizing to her mother because she treated her mother bad last season because her mom had a lot of bad things to say about Fabo, and obviously Shay was taking Fabo's side because she wanted to be with him, so she basically cut off her mother and her brother. I mean, Shay starts telling all the ins and outs of their relationship about how he doesn't pay bills and how he doesn't want to work and how he was doing the same thing with another woman that he was dealing with, and that woman was basically taking care of him, and now she's doing the same thing. And that's crazy to me because the way that she was defending him last season, you would think that he was this amazing man who took care of her and her daughter, and then come to find out he hasn't really been doing anything but causing Shay stress. So she ends up asking her mother to watch her daughter so that she can go home and break things off with Fabo, and her mother is super excited about this, and I don't know why she has her hopes up because Shay always ends up taking Fabo back. Now, Hawt Topic decides to take things to a whole other level because she decides to meet up with this woman, Gladys, who is allegedly the mother of Swerve, Trina's husband's child that he doesn't take care of. Now, this woman claims that they met in about 2021 and that they were both working at a restaurant and he was working as the dishwasher, and that's how they met each other, and they ended up messing around with each other. She got pregnant and they never took a DNA test, but she claims that she's been trying to serve him with papers so that he can take a DNA test, but he's been dodging her and she hasn't been able to get a hold of him. And obviously people might say that this woman is clout chasing because now that he's married to Trina and everybody knows about it, now she's come out of the woodworks and now she wants to try to say that she has a child with this man and she needs a DNA test. I don't know if that's the reason why this woman is doing this, but if she is telling the truth, Trina got herself in a whole lot of mess because I feel like she probably should have got to know this guy a little bit more before she decided to marry him, and then she decided to marry him without a prenup. This is something that she said in a recent interview. And this woman, Gladys, is also claiming that she did a background check on this guy, Swerve, and that he also has more than one child. Now, I don't know if anything that this woman is saying is true because I can't prove any of this. However, Hawt Topic seems to be running with everything this woman is saying, and she's claiming that she's going to take all this information to Trina and see if she can get Trina to make Swerve take a DNA test. Now, this is not going to go well at all because when Bobby brought up the fact that he thought that Hawt Topic was the one that leaked the fact that they got married, Trina was trying to say that she didn't think that Hawt Topic would do something like that. Now Hawt Topic is going to go to her with this information that she found from this woman that she reached out to try to meet up with to get dirt on Swerve, and she's going to take this information to Trina. That's not going to go over well at all because we already saw what Trina did to Bobby when Bobby tried to tell her everything that he found out about Swerve. Trina shut the conversation down immediately and told him that she does not care about anything from his past, so Hawt Topic is wasting her time. So Fabo ends up coming back to the house and he sees that Shay is sitting there looking extremely upset, and she immediately ends up confronting him about what she found in his iPad. She said that she saw that he was talking to a bunch of different women behind her back, and that now she feels like she can't trust him anymore because every time she thinks things are good between them, she ends up finding something else that he's doing behind her back. Now, he tries to tell her not to believe what people are saying, but she's not believing what people are saying. She saw what she saw in the iPad, so I don't know why he's trying to make it seem like she's going by what other people are saying because she never really goes by what other people are saying. If she went with what other people were saying, she wouldn't even still be with Fabo because she would have listened to what everybody else was saying about him, and now she's finding this out for herself, even though I feel like she's already known because during this back and forth between her and Fabo, she tried to claim that he basically fooled her throughout their relationship, and I don't agree with that. I believe that he's been showing her exactly who he is because she claimed that when he was with another woman, he was living off this woman. He wasn't paying any bills and he didn't want to work. And now she's in a relationship with him and he's doing the same thing. So if you knew that he did this with another woman that he was with, then you weren't bamboozled. And then on top of that, it's like he's been cheating on her. She knew that he cheated on her before, so I don't know why she's acting like he just fooled her. No, she fooled herself. And this is why I said that her mother should not get too excited about her leaving Fabo, because Fabo ends up leaving the room and then he comes back in the room and he ends up apologizing to Shay and asking her what she wants to do. And then she starts crying, saying that she doesn't know, that maybe they can go to therapy because the trust isn't there. So she's still trying to make excuses to stay in this relationship with him. And she claims that it's because of her daughter, that every time she's getting ready to break up with him, she thinks about her daughter and she wants him to be in their daughter's life and she wants her daughter to be from a two-parent household. And look, I feel like that's a small percentage of why she doesn't leave Fabo. And I don't like when people use their kids as an excuse to stay in a very toxic relationship, because that doesn't benefit the child at all. I believe that the real reason that she does not leave Fabo is more so to do with herself. I feel like it's because she's not ready to leave the relationship. She still wants to be with him, and that's the reason why she stays with him. I think it has little to do with the fact that she wants her daughter to be from a two-parent household. I honestly think that she stays with Fabo because she still wants to be with him. So it's the day of Zoe's album release party and everybody ends up showing up to support her. Flo and Gael end up showing up, and then Bobby shows up with Trina and Swerve, and everything's going good at first. Bobby's over there having a conversation with Flo and Gael, which I was surprised they were able to conduct themselves this time, because usually Bobby ends up getting into it with them every time he's around them, but I guess he didn't want to ruin Zoe's day, which I think is a good thing. But Hawt Topic ends up showing up and she shows up on a 10, okay? She immediately comes at Bobby because she calls him fake, because she sees him talking to Flo and Gael, and because she has beef with them, she expects for him not to talk to them either. Now, Bobby can be very messy, and to me, he does have a little bit of fakeness in him. However, he doesn't have to be rude to people just because Hawt Topic doesn't get along with somebody. Like, she's doing a lot of messy stuff herself right now, overly prying into Trina's business behind her back. So I don't know why she's deciding to call out Bobby, but she gets into it with Bobby. They end up having a back and forth, and she tells him that he's wrong because he's not telling the truth to Trina, which is not necessarily the truth, because he did try to tell Trina about the emails that he got trying to expose Swerve, and she told him that she did not want to hear it and that she did not care. So he did what he was supposed to do. She didn't want to hear it, so he shut it down and respected her wishes. Hawt Topic is the one who doesn't want to do that, because she has a vendetta against Trina right now, because Trina kind of cut her from her circle ever since she's been with Swerve. She hasn't really been talking to her, and that's the reason why Hawt Topic is going so hard about this situation. So Hawt Topic starts calling everybody fake and phony, and then she ends up leaving the event. Now, she was supposed to show up to this event and tell everything to Trina that she said she was going to tell her about her little meetup with this woman who claims that she's the mother of Swerve's child, but she didn't actually end up doing it. She ended up leaving. Now, Zoe ends up going on stage and thanking everybody for supporting her, and she does a cute little performance, and then her boyfriend, who she's been having a lot of issues with lately, ends up showing up, and he gets on stage and he gives her some flowers, and then he gets on one knee and ends up proposing to her. And look, I thought it was cute and she was crying about it. However, I don't think that she really wanted to say yes, because earlier in the episode and all the episodes lately, she's been saying that they've been having a lot of drama in their relationship and that she didn't even know if she wanted to be with him anymore because she's not happy. And yet she ended up saying yes to the proposal. Now, I think the reason why she said yes is, number one, because she did not want to embarrass him because he proposed in front of everybody, but also because everybody that was there was telling her to say yes, because we see in the previews for next week's episode that she has some doubts about saying yes to being married to him. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all, and until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.